Hi, Rick Marino, Realty One Group Music City. So you want to buy a house, but everything's under contract. Why is that? It's the law of supply and demand. You've heard of it, and it's being tried right now, and it's being stretched to the extreme. There are so many buyers flooding our market and so few houses to buy. In fact, last week, one of my colleagues had 50 offers on his listing. 50 offers. I've never heard, nobody's heard of that. It's crazy. 48 a few days before that on another listing. And 24 offers on a house last week. It's just crazy. And I remember back in the last buyer's market, which is exactly the opposite of what we have right now, when if you were a buyer, the seller would give you anything you wanted to make the deal happen because there were way more houses for sale than there were buyers. So prices were low, interest rates were a lot higher. Funny how that works. But you can get whatever you wanted. If you wanted them to pay your closing costs, sure, whatever it takes. If you want the lawnmower, great. You want the car in the driveway, we can work that out because it was a buyer's market. But today we're seeing a seller's market like we've never seen. These are really trying times for buyers because there are so many buyers moving here from California, Illinois, New York, from all over the country. They're coming to Nashville because we have a strong job economy. We've got lower housing prices. I say that tongue in cheek. Yeah, it's higher than they've ever been. Interest rates are low, so it's still a great time to buy. But compared to some of these other places, for example, San Francisco, $1 million doesn't buy you much. So people are leaving California. They're coming here. They're selling their 1,300 square foot house for $1 million. They see $400,000 here for a house. You're getting a lot more house. And they're thinking, 400 grand for this? This would cost $1 million back home. I'll give you 500,000 for it. You see, because to them, it's nothing. They have the cash. They sold their house. They have all this cash and they're throwing it at the market. So sellers are eating it up. They're not paying closing costs. If you ask for closing costs, they're going to say, heck no. You're buying it as is, no closing costs, and we want to close on such and such date. And they'll find a buyer that will accommodate them. So supply and demand is here at play right now. So how do you get around that? There are a few ways to do that. First of all, I wish builders would just step up and build more houses. It's more complicated than that. Lumber is expensive. They don't know what's going to happen in the future. So we're not seeing enough new construction to offset the demand for housing right now. Or more people need to sell their homes. That would certainly create more inventory. But if you think about it, the seller in this case would become a buyer too. There aren't many houses out there to choose from. So the seller isn't going to sell, or I should say the prospective seller won't sell his house unless he has a place to go to. So that's why we'll just stay here a little longer until there's more choices. And there are things you can do to get around that. First of all, you need to make a strong offer. You can't say, well, it's list price, I'll give you 5,000 more. Trust me, there's people giving 20,000 more and 25,000 more and more than that. Who knows? It just needs to be a strong offer. And it isn't always just about price. It's about terms. So when you're presenting an offer, you should be very flexible on the closing date for the seller. Make sure we need to cater to the seller big time right now. And I hate that, but it's true. You got to cater to the seller and you got to make sure that the seller has a place to go to and that his terms are met. When you're writing your offer, make sure that you're not asking for the world because he's just going to reject your offer and go to the guy who's doing it right. The guy who's saying, look, no closing. I'm not going to ask you to make any repairs. I'll do a home inspection, but it'll just be pass or fail. I don't want to buy a lemon. As long as I know, hey, the bones are good, I'll accept the house as is. So that's a good way to do it. Don't ask for a lot of seller concessions because if you're asking him to pay all your closing costs, he'll move on to the next guy. No repairs. The appraisal. That's another big thing because things are selling so high right now that every seller worries that the house won't appraise. So if you have a little money in reserves that you can say, look, if the house doesn't appraise, I'll pay the difference. That's a big, huge key factor for getting your offer accepted in this tight seller's market. Then the other thing you can do is present an all cash offer. Rick, are you crazy? Who's got all cash? Well, there are ways to make an FHA or a VA or even a conventional loan a cash offer. If you could call me or just write below, Rick, tell me about this cash offer thing, and I'll call in and I will explain it to you. All right. You can convert your offer into a cash offer, and trust me, you'll get way ahead of the pack of the 50 offers that house is going to get. All right. So I'll explain that to you. You can private message me on Messenger or call me 615-405-1800. The easiest way is just leave a message below and I'll get a hold of you and I'll explain how this cash offer thing works. And another way to get a house in this market is let my team market for you to find unlisted or pre-market homes. Now, the unlisted home is the best way to go, because if nobody else knows about the offer but you, then now you can work with the seller and you can make sure that the terms are right for both parties. You'll give the seller enough time to find a house. He'll give you what you need as far as closing costs or whatever it is that you need to make the deal happen. You'll work together the way it used to be, without all that competition driving the price up. Because here's one more thing that you need to know. If it's on the MLS, it's overpriced. If it's not on the MLS, if it's unlisted, now you can really truly negotiate for what the home is worth. That's the best way to do that. And if you want to know more information, right there below, type, Rick, tell me about unlisted properties. And I'll call you right away, because this process does take a little bit more time, but it's well worth it. All right. So those are just a couple of tidbits to kind of get you through this seller's market. One last little tidbit of information here for you. Be patient, because this is trying on everybody. People call, Rick, when am I going to get a house? I'm frustrated. I want to give up. No, don't give up. We will find the right program for you. So if you're not working with a real estate agent right now and you want to get started, you want to see how this works, call me. The best way to do it, leave a message below and we'll contact you. All right? So hit me up, leave a message. Please like this video and like this page. And by all means, turn on your notifications so that you'll receive future videos like this one. And that's all I've got. Happy house hunting. Remember the word happy in there. Just don't be frustrated. Be very patient and we'll make this happen. My name's Rick Marino. I'm a real estate agent in the Nashville, Tennessee area, and I'm looking forward to speaking with you. Have a great day.